Hey guys, it's Misery's Company. So I had made a video a couple days ago. By the time you see this one, I came out about 2 days ago, and the title of the video was, "Is Diablo Immortal still pay to win?" Now, every once in a while, I will do this style of video just to see what type of conversations are sort of sparked from it, and I'm glad I did. I got some decent feedback from a lot of people, but also some of the feedback, I don't want to say was like unhinged, but I just yeah, what? Like, so one thing that came up more than once, and so I get a lot of like sort of outlandish comments where I'm just like, yeah, okay, this person just either doesn't have a good understanding or is just maybe too new to the game or just is misguided, right? Or just doesn't play the game and just is commenting on the video to troll. And I get those all the time. I've been doing YouTube long enough to know what that looks like. But when people start saying something and it gets a lot of, I don't want to say upvotes like Reddit, but, likes in terms of comments. But not only that, you get people that are like very obviously agreeing with the comment. And it's so outlandish. I couldn't fathom. So I couldn't help but make a video about it. So I'm just doing my dailies right now in Inferno 2, which is going to be sort of the topic here, which is going to be, is Inferno 2 pay to win? This came up more than once where people said that you could not play Inferno 2 difficulty without spending a substantial amount of money, or money in general, in Diablo Immortal. And that was a very surprising comment to me. So I think it's safe to assume, based off the people I saw responding, are not generally people that have engaged with a lot of my videos, and I think they're new to the game, or maybe you're just less experienced in the game. Now, I just want to paint the picture, guys. Inferno 2 is the brand new hardest difficulty that just came out in terms of time gated content in Diablo Immortal. And what I mean by that is you can't unlock Inferno 2 until you get 9,000 Paragon level. So as you can see, even just in this dungeon I'm doing right now, there's one person who's under that. Now the game does something to make it a little bit easier for people who are struggling with the higher end content. And what they do is they combine the content. So for me, for example, I am in fact doing an Inferno 2 dungeon. The difficulty is Inferno 2. This person, who's level 899, is experiencing the same exact dungeon at the same time, but with Inferno 1 difficulty. So we're actually able to play together, get the loot that we would want from the higher difficulty in my case, or lower difficulty in his case, but still play together so that our queue time or our, how long it takes to find a match doesn't take forever. So the game is smart in the way that it's like has that flexible difficulty. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. But the same thing goes on from Hell 1 through 8, where actually all 1 through 8 are now combined. Once your server Paragon for your server reaches a certain threshold, I don't remember what it is offhand, but then, whoa, what are we doing? Okay, okay, what are we doing? But, once your server Paragon reaches a certain threshold, then you can actually combine all the different Hell difficulties in order to actually play together. So if somebody just starts the game right now and is on Hell 1, they could be playing with somebody who's a little under-geared in Hell 8 and still experience the same dungeon at the same time, but get the appropriate gear for whatever Hell difficulty they completed it for them. Now, the reason I offer this sort of feedback, or I guess explanation for pre-existing, functionality of our beloved game here, is that people are saying that Inferno 2 cannot be played unless you pay to win, and that the only reason I'm enjoying Inferno 2 Hell difficulty is because I have over 3k resonance. Now, this is a factual statement. I do have over 3k resonance. I've also played the game since the very beginning and have 6 out of my 9 pieces of gear at level 20 or above, or in this case, all level 21. Which is a substantial amount of combat rating if you're not aware, by the way. So each level grants you about 6 combat rating. So 6 times 21 times 6, and then 6 times 15 times 2. Like, that's just additional combat rating. And then, of course, you get combat rating just from flat stats from the gear that you wear, which if you're not aware, because apparently a lot of people are not, your legendary gear scales with whatever your Paragon level is. So that's why it's always valuable to you to keep farming your legendary gear, because as your Paragon level goes up, the gear that you get for your legendary gear will go up with you. So basically it's a never-ending cycle of, oh, I just got level 901. That means I could get a chance at getting a higher piece of legendary gear that's better than 1245. Let's see if I actually have one. Yeah, so here you go. This is a Paragon, Inferno 2 piece of gear. This is Inferno 1. I'm still using it. When I get a headpiece, it's going to be somewhere probably between 1245 and 1257. You can see there's a 1259, 1225. So you can see the overall combat rating fluctuates, and that's where it's always a good grind in the game to try to get a higher level of combat rating, or even stats, or both, ideally in a perfect world where you get a triple stat like this, but you also get a high combat rating. That would be the perfect situation where we get our base stat, which in my case is going to be strength, and then some other good stats as well. So combat rating is the name of the game, but people are saying that you cannot play Inferno 2 as free to play, and I couldn't fathom that. So let's go ahead and open this up really quick and just sort of talk about it. So the combat rating recommended for Inferno 2 is 20,900. Now let's pull out our handy dandy little calculator here. So a lot of people, well, let's actually not pull it out. Yeah, we're fine. So like I said, when it comes to your overall gear level, which is all those like, headpiece, shoulders, arms, and all that, all the legendary gear all has that incremental level that gives you 6 combat rating per level. So for example, if it's, 21 times 6, so that's level 21 times 6 combat rating per, that's 126 combat rating for one piece of gear, times 6, which is what I have. So that's 756 combat rating just for having the gear at level 21. And then I have 2 at level 15. So to go ahead and do what? 756. Okay, we'll clear that. 15 times 6 plus 90. And that was what? Plus 90 again, plus 756. So that's a 936 combat rating I get just from my actual gear levels. So not from the actual combat rating you see here, but the little 15, I get an additional 1,000 almost combat rating for that. Now, what else bakes into your combat rating as somebody who has played this game since basically the very beginning? It's also going to have to do with your ancestral property. Look how much combat rating we're going to be getting from this. So I get 613 combat rating from my ancestral tableau for being part of a warband. So that's just an additional bunch of stats that I get for playing the game and grinding the game with my warband for a while. And a lot of people probably have a much higher one than 613. I took a break from the game, and then when I came back, it was about 2 months of a break. I didn't even have a warband for the longest time. So this is a pretty low number realistically compared to most people that have been playing since day one. Another thing that you get just straight up combat rating for, and again, I don't know if you guys have noticed, all the combat rating I've mentioned so far is completely free to play. You just have to play the game for a while. You had to have played the game. Yes, you can get combat rating from your gems, but not one thing yet have I talked about gems being combat rating. So this is all free to play combat rating. If you go to your Heliquary, I have a Heliquary level 47. Combat rating increased by 1,785. This is going to be phenomenal. And this is something that is also a bit time gated because you can only do it twice a week. It resets on Mondays and Thursdays, I think is when it resets. So you can do them twice a week to get additional Heliquary demonic remains, sell the remains, and increase your Heliquary to get the additional combat rating. Again, completely free to play. Just play the game at, basically consistently. And then that doesn't even factor in, where is it at? When you look at your Legacy of Herodrum, these are all also different attributes that you're going to be getting for playing the game for for large amounts of time. This is something that you do on a daily basis. Your Legacy of the Herodrum is something you should and have to do on a daily basis. And then when you get enough, you open more and more keys, and you get to level these different items up or gems up to get additional damage, life, and all these different attributes, which are going to factor in just how strong your character is as a whole. And when you look at that, so sure, combat rating is what it is, but you also have to have these more attributes at a decent enough level to be competitive at whatever hell difficulty you're on. And if you're ever curious, I think I can hover over it. No, how do you do it? Hold on. Go here, this one, more attributes. There you go. So my armor, reduce all damage taken from increase your blocked amount. Your armor is 652 lower than expected for the level in your current activity and difficulty, decreasing your damage reduction from blocking by 0% from a base of 50%, and increasing enemy crit hit damage by 50%. So because I'm lower, I'm going to be taking more damage and blocking literally nothing. Same thing goes for your armor pen in terms of how much armor pen I'm doing, and your potency, which is how, good the resistance is at which of the harmful effects that you're doing, and then same for resistance, which is what it does to you, and how strong a harmful effect is against you. So even in my current situation where I have this quote unquote pay to win resonance, I'm still technically lower power, quote unquote, for my secondary attributes for Inferno 2. And the reason I'm explaining all this is Inferno 2 is the hardest difficulty. It is challenging. It is meant to be challenging. So if you are a brand new person coming to the game, a new player, or haven't played for that long, or haven't grinded as much as somebody else, yeah, you're not going to be able to do or experience Inferno 2, but that doesn't make it pay to win. Sure, you could go ahead and buy Resonance to quote unquote do Inferno 2 faster, but I wouldn't consider that pay to win. I mean, look at the combat rating you get from your gym. Where is it at? So you get increased resonance by 410, but I'm only getting 100 combat rating for this level 5 5-star legendary gem. So I think people confuse resonance for combat rating. Just because I'm getting 410 resonance doesn't mean I'm getting 410 combat rating. I'm getting 100. I'm getting a quarter of the total combat rating compared to resonance that I would be getting. And then for the 2-star gear, which I would argue is incredibly free-to-play friendly, so only increases my resonance by about half, but I also get about half the combat rating. So, but if you look at that ratio, that's almost, yeah, it's still about a quarter. So you get the idea though. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pay to win gem. You could also get a 2-star gem or even a 1-star legendary gem and experience the combat rating increase the same. So that's where I have to strongly disagree that Inferno 2 is pay to win. I just don't think you've grinded enough. You haven't played the game long enough to be able to be doing the strongest or highest difficulty. There's a reason why, and I think it's confusing because people are being able to catch up to the server Paragon and quote unquote unlocking Inferno 2. Because I've seen a lot of people that are newer to the game or returning to the game after a long break and don't have their high of blacksmith levels where they're like level 15 or 16. And then they're saying that, Inferno 2 is hard. Well, yeah, it's hard for me, let alone someone who's, has less combat rating. Again, forget the resonance, just combat rating. So yeah, you might have to go down to Inferno 1 for a little bit longer, where your combat rating might be a little bit more balanced until you can get some of those secondary attributes up or even grind the necessary combat rating to make Inferno 2 a little bit easier. But again, that's why when you jump into a dungeon, the game helps you by combining Infernos 1, 2, and 3 all together. So that way you'll still be getting Inferno 1 gear, and everyone else playing with you can still get Inferno 2 gear, and that's just going to help you build up your gear. Because if you're not aware, we talked about your legendary items on this side growing with your Paragon level. Your set gear on this side grows with your actual difficulty that you're on. So you see this is a 1257 combat rating piece of gear. If I were to go down here, it's 1145. So this is Inferno 1 and this is Inferno 2. So it's a pretty substantial jump, almost, yeah, over 100 combat rating just for going to the next difficulty. And I don't even have full Inferno 2 gear yet. So I have 3, I think, and then the other 3 are Inferno 1. So it's something that I'm still grinding. But again, that's the kind of the point of the game, guys, is to be a grind. That's a Diablo game. It doesn't mean it's pay to win. It just means you got to grind more. That's the whole point. So I was just dumbfounded by how many people had talked about Inferno 2 being pay to win that I felt like I had to make this video. I had a really hard time grasping the understanding that you feel like you deserve to go to the highest difficulty right away. That's not how games work. You have to, I don't want to say earn your way up there, but you do have to grind and make sure you have the adequate amount of gear, or at least properties and different attributes, whether it be from your resonance, which yes, is pay to win. That's just an option. I gave you a plethora of different ways of raising your combat rating outside of that. So I just have to strongly disagree with people when they say that the Inferno difficulty is pay to win. It's not pay to win. It's pay to rush. So sure, if you're new to the game, just made a brand new account and everything's sort of garbage, you could buy resonance and make it a little easier and get there quicker. Or you could just play the game as intended, and you could grind and get the necessary levels for all of the gear and try to catch up a bit. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm actually really curious. I'm going to be paying really close attention to the comments of this video because I was so surprised at the comments from the other video that people felt like this was pay to win. If I'm missing something or you feel like you strongly disagree, that's fine. I'm more than willing to have a healthy debate in the comment section. Just keep it nice, guys. I almost said keep it professional. Keep it nice, play nice with others. I genuinely just gave my opinion and or some facts about the game itself to why I think that it's not pay to win. But if you feel strongly that the Inferno 2 difficulty is pay to win, just articulate your idea or your reasoning, if you don't mind, because I'm curious and I have a hard time understanding when the comment is, oh my God, you don't understand. You're just a whale. You're a shill. Like, okay, sure. I don't think I'm a whale at all, but if you think I am, that's fine. To me, you're not giving me an actual reason as to why it's pay to win. You're just upset that you disagree with me. So I would love to have an actual healthy conversation in the comments below. And if I'm missing something and I need to make another video to help articulate or educate my audience or the people that watch my videos, I'd be more than happy to do that. But just make sure you're articulating your concerns in a positive way, or at least a lighthearted way, so we can have a good conversation about it. All right, guys, let me know. Is Inferno 2 truly pay to win, or is it pay to rush? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until next time, lock it in.